Okay. Let us start the class. As I told you that these classes are very free classes. Okay. And the classes will be conducted in Zoom platform, free classes, 3 days of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. Okay. So if anybody student due to his busy schedules, he was unable to attend the classes, he can find the classes in YouTube. So these classes will be, as I have discussed in many social media platforms, and I told you that. So these classes will be conducted up to my last breath freely. So these classes will be so useful to students who are residing in villages, especially uh, whomever have the laptops, don't have the laptops. Understand? Because these classes will be can be conducted, means you can write the coding in the mobiles, Android mobiles. For that, you need to download some apps. Many times I told you that suppose if you want to write the coding for Java, okay, you need to download JV Droid app, Android app from the Google Play Store. JV Droid, JV Droid, okay, no issue. For Python, you need to download Python. You need to download PyDroid 3, PyDroid 3 from Google, PyDroid 3 from Google Play Store. By these apps, you can write the coding in the mobiles. Very easy coding. Initially, I have started to teach the programming classes in Python and Java. Initially, up to now, I started in mobiles to write the code. Up to now, I have written, I think, 1,000 pages of the coding. So that was shared with all of you, understand? And okay, if you have any query, you can call me on my mobile number. This is my mobile number, 9110398650. Okay, 9110398650. So as I told, these are very free classes. Okay, let us start the class. Today we will try to understand what topic is what today's topic. I am commenting here. I am commenting here. Today, socket programming for both sides. Socket programming for socket programming read and write. Read and write. In the previous classes, whenever the client app writes to the server and server reads that and prints, in the previous classes I have explained. So some recap of the previous topics in the previous classes under the Java networking. We try to understand a lot of topics which are connection oriented protocols, connection-less protocols. So socket programming based on connection oriented, socket programming based on connection-less protocol. Okay, many terminology we try to understand: IP address, MAC address, socket, port number. Okay, and it was what is TCP protocol, transmission control protocol, UDP, user datagram protocol, and why do you need of networking? What are the advantages? All the things we have theoretical concept we have studied in the previous session. So after that, next week I have taught how to write the coding for socket programming for client side and server side. That day we have learned only one, that is what client will send, client will read into the server. Okay, and server will read that, client will send the message to the server. Server will read that and print. Today, socket programming, we will try to understand both read and write. Means here, client will be able to send and write and read. And same thing, server will be able to write to the client and read. Okay, means socket programming means server can send to client, okay, and also can read from client. What do you mean of this? Server can send to client. Server can send a message to client and also can read from client. Okay, if that means both read and write in the same way, client can send to server. Okay, client can send to server and also can read from client can send to server and also can read from server. And also can read from server. Okay, means both the activities, both the client and server, both can send and read from each other. Okay, means both the server and client can read and write from each other. Okay, this is the story, today's story. Yeah? We will try to understand this one. Okay. Now I am going to write the code. So let us start the code. My file name is server both. Server both means server can do both. Okay. If I write client both means client can send, client can read. Okay. Server can read and server can do both. Can read, can send. So now same as I told you that file name must be equal to your file name. Server both. Okay. The same thing. So whenever your file name equal to must be class name. Here I am going to write the programming. Before that, as I told you that I need to import some packages. That is very important. Import pack java dot io dot star. Star means what? All the packages. Okay. Sorry, all the classes. From input output package, all the classes. Okay. Next, we will try to input one more package, net package. Import java.net. That is mostly used for, because in the previous classes I told you that socket programming based on connection oriented. So that moment two classes will be used. That is what server socket class and socket class. In the previous classes, I have briefed that. Okay. Now, so I am commenting here. First of all, write for server, server application, server app. Okay. How to write the, now come down here. Within this is the main class. Main class name has been changed. Main class. Okay. Main class name can be changed. This is the main method. Main method never be changed. Main method never be changed. Okay. Main method Main method can't be changed. Name can't be changed. Okay. Main method can't be changed. Okay. Now come down. So this is the default statement. If you want to keep it or no, it is up to you. Okay. If you don't want to keep by default, whenever you whenever you create a file. Okay. So this is the file name. So that moment with this main class and main method and with one default statement will be loaded. And if you want to keep it as it is your choice, if you don't want. Okay. Now, first of all, for a server app, so let me, first of all, I am creating, that is what server socket class I am using. And for that, I am creating the object for this class, server socket, syntax new dot server socket. Okay, now here this is called your constructor. Now close here. You comment here constructor of server socket class. Okay. This is the constructor. As I told you that constructor is a special method. Okay, use it. It is created along with whenever the object is created for the class. This is the object for the class server socket. Server socket class is part of your .NET package. Okay. And once star you have used it here means all the classes will be imported. Whatever you need that can be used. Here I have used server socket class and object created syntax. This is new keyword must be here. After that, this is the constructor. See, this is a special method of this class. Now, then after you need to keep what here. You need to try to understand here. One more class you need to create, that is socket class here. Okay. Now here we need to use pass to, that is what, two keywords. So within this bracket, one parameter I am going to pass here port number. That is very important. Suppose you pass any port number. Let's suppose this is the port number I have passed here. So the client will be trying to connect with this port number. Okay. Next. You need to do what? Here you create the object for the socket class, same as we have done in the previous classes, how we have written the code for the client server app. The same thing we are doing, but a little bit changes. The same code I have written, I am writing to that. So now you create that object for server socket class. Socket object is equal to here new, no new keyword, because we will use the method of this server socket class. That is that method will be accessed by the object, and after that accept method. If you simply keep dot here, you will get all that methods. But here ss dot. SS dot means SS is the object of created for the server socket class. So the methods will be accessed by the dot operator, accept SS dot accept. Okay. Now here This is the method. This method will be used to accept. This is used to establish a connection. Establishes connection between client and server. Then after what happened, once connection is establishes connection. This accept method, that is the method of your server socket class, that is the object method. So object created, that is being accepted with the object. This method of server socket class establishes the connection between client and server. So once connection is established, if okay, connection established, so waits for what? Waits for client. Okay, once client is connected with the port, once client is connected with this port, so object of this class will be returned. Object of this is the object. Instance means object. Instance will be instance of socket class. Socket class will be handed over, will be released. Okay, will be released. Now come down. So this accept method of server socket class accessed by the object. Okay. Now try to understand the same thing, same code we have written for the server app for one side. In the previous class, one side means server will read. Okay, client will send and server will read. So server will read. So to read that, we did what? We have imported, we have used a class that is what data input stream class of what? Input stream class of data input stream class will be used to read the input stream sent by the client. This is the input stream class of what? This IO package, IO input output package. So we will create the object for data input stream. So simply we write D in data input. Okay, is equal to new, same syntax, create new and data input stream. Okay, it is a constructor again. So within this constructor, we will, okay, we need to do what? We need to pass. Anything we need to pass here? Yes, we need to pass within this constructor. As I told you that this is the constructor for what class? Constructor for this data input stream class. So data input stream class. Within this constructor, we need to use a method of this socket class. This socket object. Socket class has a method. That method name is equal to get input stream dot get input stream. Okay, it is a method, so it must be suffixed with the suffixed means next, prefixed means before. So these brackets means parenthesis means must be there. So this is the method of this socket class. So that is the method of socket class. So that method is an object method. So this method will be accessed only this object. So you simply put this as S. Okay. Now, what happened here? Now try to understand. Okay. Now this is what? This is used for what? This is used for to read the input stream. Server, so client will send the message and server will read that message. Okay, by this method. Says dot get input stream method of socket. Okay, class. Now, so whenever server sends, here server is reading, okay, by this input stream. So whenever server sends, so we need to create the syntax like this data output stream. Output stream. So here the out is an object for so syntax new field data output stream. Okay. Now it is also constructor. You put the bracket and terminate here. Now you come comment here. This is the constructor for what? Constructor for this data output stream class, and it is part of your input output package. Here, this is the object created for this data output stream class. It has a method get. That method dot get output stream. Okay, it is a method, so must be suffixed with the bracket. So this is to be accessed by what this get output stream method. It is a method of this. This method is the part of this socket class. So that will be accessed by this object created for the data socket class. Yes. So what happened? This method used to send the data to client. So from server side, this method of socket class will be used to read the input stream sent by the client. Okay, now try to understand here. We have written the code very simply. We have written that after that, see, suppose if we will use here as a wrapping. Wrapping is what? Wrapping means one class will be kept in another class, means one object will be put in another object. Suppose here mostly we will use the buffer input, buffer reader and input stream reader. They will be used along with both of, okay. So first of all, we will create the object for the buffer reader. I will explain what is the user buffer reader here. Buffer reader, its object, create the object for buffer reader. Okay, new, and then buffer reader. Okay, buffer reader. Okay, within this buffer reader, you put the constructor, okay, of the input stream reader. Input stream reader. And within this constructor input stream reader constructor pass the system dot in parameter. Okay. Okay. Now you terminate this one. Okay. This is much of code I have written here. Appearance, within this appearance, it is to zoom in, zoom out. Okay. See, after that, what I'm doing here now, create to, if you want to increase the zoom, you go here, open view, command. Appearance, you go over appearance and zoom zoom out. Okay, if you want to increase them, zoom in. One more time, if you want to increase, zoom in. So this is like this, okay? So nothing, you come down here. എന്തില്ല? So after that, this is called wrapping. Wrapping means this is the object created for the buffered reader. So within the buffered reader constructor means brackets, we have passed the object that is not object, constructor of input stream reader. This is the constructor of input stream reader. Within this, again input stream reader constructor, I have passed this system.in parameter. System.in parameter used to read the input from standard input device. Standard to read the standard input device. What is our standard input device? Keyboard. So whenever user typing, so that characters, letters will be read by this system.in parameter. So after that, that will be read by this object, a method of this buffer reader. What is that method? That method, buffer reader has a method. So that method to be, we need to write, I need to write that method here. So I am going to write that method br dot, okay, a read line method. Okay, so whenever server, this is the server, I have server board. So server is sending, suppose server is sending. So that server is sending means server, so some message to be sent, no, that will be typed. So that will be read by the system.in parameter. Okay, so that will be read the system.in, and that will be read by this method by the buffer reader object. Buffer reader object means this read line method is the method of buffer reader class. That will be, it is an object method that will be accessed by the object created buffer reader. And what is the use? This method, read line method, it reads lines at a time, a line at a time reads a line, okay, line of text. So whenever a message that is being typed, okay, from the standard keyboard device, standard input device, that is keyboard, that will be read by system.in parameter that is passed in constructor of system input stream reader. So that will be read by this method of read line method of buffer reader class. That is an object method, will be read by the object, that will be accessed by object. Now this read line method at a time reads a line of text. So now that what happened, this that to be stored, that to be stored in where, that will be stored, that is to be stored so okay, that is to be converted into a translation format that is called UTF, Unicode translation format. Okay, so now see Unicode translation format. So how Unicode translation format? Okay, so first of all, we are try to understand what whenever server this app, this application means sorry, this class will allow the app, this class, which class? Data output stream class, data output stream class, data output stream class allows an app what to do, what it will allow. Data output stream class allows an app to send. Okay. Data output stream class allows an app to send. Okay. Send what? Data input stream allows an app to receive. Okay. Data input stream class will be it allows the app to receive. Okay. So whenever suppose server wants to send, that will be read by this system.in. Okay. And that will be that system.in. Now that characters to be sent to client by a write method. Write method of what? Write method of what? This data output stream, because data output stream will be used to send, allow an app to send. Na? So now we will use a command here, dout dot, okay, write utf. Okay, this method. So try to understand what is the meaning of this. So dout is an object that is created for, as I told you, the data output stream class allows an app to send. So this object, this class has a method. That method is write UTF. Write UTF. So UTF means I will explain. This is called Unicode translation format. Unicode translation format. Okay. Now, what happened? That message, okay, typed by standard input device, that will be read by system.in parameter. Okay, passed in input stream reader constructor. And that will be encoded into Unicode translation format, 8-bit. 8-bit, okay. It has 3 types, okay. Unicode UTF 8-bit, UTF 16, UTF 32, like that. So that characters will be translated into Unicode character encoding. Okay. Now with this help of this method, that is method of what? That is what? This is data output stream class that has a method of write UTF. This method encodes into Unicode character encoding format, 8-bit. Okay. Now this method will be accessed by this object created for this class. Then after what? Now what? Okay. Now we need to do as I told you that. Na? So, okay, try to understand. Suppose, na, here, this is what I told you that. So the standard input device is what? Keyboard. So whatever typed, that will be read by this system.in parameter, and that will be okay. That will be read by this object of buffered reader, object buffer reader method, read line method, and that will we need to store in a string. This is what one variable I have created. Now that system.in, it reads the characters whatever typed by the standard input device keyboard, and they will be read by this method of read line method. It reads a line of text at a time. This is the method of your buffer reader, that is the buffer reader. Here, this method accessed by object created for the buffer reader, and now that is stored in a string. String is a variable. String is a variable. Okay. So already we need to create two variables. I will explain. So where should I create two variables? Here. So here you create two variables. Okay. Okay, you create two variables here. String. Why two variables we need here? One is string str, okay, comma str1, str2, whatever. So both strings are empty. You declare them as empty. Empty, 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 empty. Okay. This is also empty. Now terminate with the semicolon. Now what happened? Now whatever. So because now why I need to declare two strings here? One is for sending and one is for receiving, reading. Okay. One is for sending. Sending means writing. Server writes into the client. Means server sends to the client. And server receives means server will read from the client. So here server is now sending, no? So that is read by this system.in parameter, and that whatever the data that is being read by this method, this method of buffer reader class, that is being accessed by object, now that is stored in this string. Okay. Now once it is stored in this string, okay, either you keep it in str2, str1, whatever as per your wish. Suppose if you keep in str2, so now this whatever stored, that string to be converted into Unicode, okay, UTF format. Whatever the string that is stored in this variable, that will be converted, because what we have discussed here, data output stream class allows an app to send. So now this whatever that string stored in this string to str2 variable, now that is to be converted into Unicode translation format 8-bit. Okay. You need to pass here str2. So once you pass str2 here, what do you mean of this? Now your data converted into Unicode translation format 8-bit, and that will be sent now. Okay, now server is able to send. Okay, try to understand. System.in parameter is used to read the characters from the standard input device keyboard. Okay. So they will be read by at a time a line of reads a line of text by this method, read line method of your object, object that is created for the buffer reader. Now that is stored in this variable. two string variables I have created as empty. Now this string to variable holds some string that will be passed to this write UTF method of data output stream class that has a method write UTF method that will be accessed by the object. Now what is the role of this method write UTF? It encodes this method write UTF method encodes into Unicode translation, Unicode character encoding. Unicode, it encodes into character, Unicode character encode. Encodes into Unicode character. Okay. Okay. Now server is ready to send the data to client, message to client. So after that, you do one thing. So this is final, na? So we will do one thing step by step, na? You cut this, you paste here. Why? Because try to understand. So this is the system.in, then it will be read by readline method that will be stored in string2 that will be passed to this method. Now this is happened. So that's why step by wise. Oh, now what you write dout.flush. Dout.flush method used to flush out the buffer. Flush out the buffer. So if any data while sending, if anything is in buffer is a temporary memory. So if anything is pending in that buffer memory, by force, buffer will be forced to flush out the whatever the data in that memory. So this flush method. So now close objects. Object din is the object created for data input stream. So din dot close. Okay. After that, termination. How many objects created? One more object created for what? S dot close this object, close this and it. SS. This is the server socket class. You S dot close. Now next SS dot close. All the objects you terminate that. Now what happened? Only two braces are here. This brace for your main method, this brace for your main class. You bring them up. Okay. Now try to understand here. So if any doubt you have, I will explain. First of all, I need to check back whether after that we need to write the coding. How much of time? This is what. Okay. Recording is over. Okay, now come here. What I did here, I want to explain that input output package and .NET package both have imported. After that, this is the main class name, change it to server both, because here server will do the both activities. It will read from the content from the sent by the client, and it will send the content message to the client. So under this main method, this is your main method. So I have created the object for what? I have created the object for the server socket class. Server socket class is the part of your .NET package. Okay, now I have created the object for this, and here within this constructor method is a special method. Server socket is a constructor for this, created for this. Automate whenever object is created for any class, this method, constructor method, will be created and will be called within this constructor of the port number. So client will be connected with this port. Okay. After that, what I did here is socket class. I have created the object for socket class, and within this socket class, I have I have used the accept method of your this server socket class. By the object, it will establish the connection between client and server. Okay. After that, after the data input stream in the previous classes, okay. So this object created for data input stream class allows the app to read. Okay. Data output stream is a class of input output package, will allow the app to send. Okay. Now see, within this constructor of data input stream, I have used the method of get input stream. Okay. Of this class object, this socket class accessed with the object. So to get output, this method used to send. This method used to receive, means read. Okay. Now after that, try to understand buffer reader. I have used why I need to use the buffer reader here. So if send by the standard input device, that is our keyboard, that is to be read by the system dot parameter. Okay, now input stream reader constructor passed wrapped with the buffer reader. So that system dot in will read the your keyboard stream, standard input device keyboard stream, and that will be read by this object method of this class. What is that object method? This is the read line method of this buffer reader. Okay, it reads at a time a line of text, and that will be stored in a string to here is empty, and that will be stored here because it is empty. Now whenever it reads, okay, that will be stored. Whenever you user server sends, that will be stored, and that will be that will be now that will be need to send out mean that is to be converted into okay Unicode translation format 8-bit. Okay, that string type of data converted into Unicode encoding. Okay, then after that we need to write somewhat code here. Where should we write the code? Here I will write here. I need to write a code here. While loop I am using here. So within this, I want to write string method equals. It is a string method equals. This is a method must be suffixed with the bracket. Okay. So here within this, I want to pass some string star. So if this string, which string? Okay, that string is not equal to, so not equal to here, I need to put. So if I remove this string dot equals, okay, if I put the not equal to here, it means that string is not equal to, so if it is equal, then okay, read. Okay, if it is not equal, stop. Okay. String two is for what? String two is used for what? Sending. Okay. String str, that is for reading. Str for sending. Str stores reading. Okay. So now str means what? The receiving string not equals, stop. Okay, equals, then what? Then what? Then you need to write, you need to read, na? String dot. Okay, this is the, it will read. So that is what reading will be, object is, this is. Okay, we need to write D in dot. What method? That method read UTF. Read UTF. Read UTF. That is a method. Okay, after that terminate here. Try to understand. Now what? Whenever reading string equals, okay, okay, then read. Otherwise, stop. Okay, not equals, stop. If it is equals, that string will be read and converted into a string. Okay, this method is read UTF method will be accessed by the object created for the data input stream. So that read UTF method is a method of your data input stream that can be accessed by the object D. So now what it does, you need to comment here. It converts the receiving string, converts the receiving string. Simply I am writing receiving string from client, string from client into what? Into, so from client is sending encoded in this format. Client is sending Unicode translation format that is to be converted into string from client to what? String. Okay, string format, which is in UTF format, that is to be converted in string format. Now that string will be stored here. So that will be read. I have written. So that string is equal to whatever. So then not equal, stop. If it is equal, it is to be read. Okay. Now that is okay. Now, once it is read, that moment that is to be displayed, na? That is to be displayed. System dot out dot print ln bracket. System dot out dot print ln bracket. Now, client server is reading. Server is reading. So you say client, server is reading the text from the client. Client says what? You put that string here. You put that string str. Okay, str2 it is to send, because str2 I have passed in here. So it is this string will be sent by the server. But str string I have passed to where? Str string I have passed to convert this as read UTF method. Means it will be read sent by the client. Okay. So that client message will be stored in the string variable and that will be displayed. Okay, now come here. After that, okay. cut this and initially reading start. Okay, that is okay. After that it will be displayed this up to this work. Okay, for reading up to this 3 line of code for reading of the string from the client. Okay, this is for okay writing, sending of from the sending from the server. Okay, this is okay. After that, buffer will be flushed. This method buffer is a temporary memory. Buffer will be flushed. Means flush means forcefully it forced to send out the data. Okay, whatever the temporary memory, if it has any characters, and that will be flushed out. And after that, objects will be closed. Then after, we need to understand that what is the use of this buffered reader. We need to understand this buffer reader. Buffer reader, simply I am using as buffer shortly. Buffer reader, what is the use of buffer reader? It reads couple of characters. Okay, and converts the characters into bytes. Converts the characters into reads couple of characters, buffer reader. Okay, from input stream. The characters are coming from where? Reads couple of characters from input stream. Okay, input stream coming from where? Coming from keyboard. Okay, reads couple of characters from input stream, that is coming from keyboard, that will be read by the system.in parameter. Okay, and stores in a buffer buffer. I told you that in the temporary memory. And that what is the input stream reader? Simply I have written IR. So input stream reader, what it does, input stream reads bytes, convert that byte streams into characters. Okay, reads bytes and convert bytes into characters. Converts bytes into characters. Okay. Okay. So this is the story of the how to now both the now server app is ready to send and receive. So it will send the message to the client by this code. One is here by sending this line of code is very important for sending. Of this line of code is for receiving, and after that this server socket and socket both classes used for connection oriented socket programming. Means connection oriented means reliable. Okay, TCP protocol is used here. TCP protocol is used to for connection oriented. Okay, after that, whenever now server wants to send, so server wants to send means some data, means that is to be kept in this string. Okay, so whenever standard input device keyboard, by keyboard, if anything is typed, that will be read by this system.in parameter, and that will be read by the buffer reader object method, buffer reader class method. Okay, this is the buffer reader readline method that will be accessed by the object br. Okay, and that will be stored in a string. Okay, string is a variable. Now that is to be sent to the client. So now it is to be converted into this to be sent means this method, right? UTF method of data output stream dout, this object that will be converted into Unicode translation format. Okay. Okay, that is for upward. This is only for sending. Whenever receiving, so receiving, for the receiving, whatever the code I have written, this line of code helps, it allows the app, server app, to read the input stream, so that input stream will be read by this method of buffer reader. Sorry, that will be read. Sorry, this is not this. Okay, this okay. So whenever that string equals to, if string equals to, if string is equal to, okay, if string is not equal to, means receiving string is not equal, stops. Whenever receiving string is equal to, so that to be converted into your string. Okay, because no, that Unicoded at the time of sending, the string will be in Unicode translation format. Okay, so that is to be converted into string, and that will be stored in this str. Str is a variable. Okay, string variable. Okay, after that, that will be print. That will be print. Whatever client is saying, that will be print. Okay, so both what? Both sending and this app written for both sending. Server is sending means server can send to client and also can read from client. Whenever it is reading from client, that message will be displayed here. Whenever it is sending, server is sending to client, that moment that string will be converted into Unicode translation format 8-bit or 16 or 32-bit by this method of write UTF method of your data output stream class. These objects that are the class as a method. This is that method. It will convert that string. So this str2 stores whatever the string will be sent by the server, and that string will be converted Unicode translation format. Okay. So I think this is enough in today's class. I'm going to terminate the class because it is almost 9:15. Okay. Have a nice day. We will discuss on Saturday how the client will do the both activities, sending and receiving. Okay. So if you want to make it only for one side, server only wants to read. If you want to make only server app, only it receives only. That moment you need to omit this code. This code, no need. Okay, it is this code will allow the app to server app to send. Okay, so this is no need of this code. These 2 lines of code compulsory. Okay, 2 lines, these 2 lines socket. What is this? These 2 lines of socket. Yes. Object. Okay. These 2 lines of code compulsory. This line of code need or this line of code no need, because server receives only. So that moment receives. So okay, this line of code we need. Okay, because of whatever we are receiving, that is in the format of Unicode transfer, that is to be converted by this method. Okay, method created for So no need of this one, no need of one string. This is to be one string. You need to write empty string. So now, okay, by this method, okay, and that will be stored, read by this method and will be stored here, and that will be displayed. Okay. After that, flush object close. 3 objects to be closed. Okay. D out flush no need, because D out flush server is receiving, server is not sending. So whenever server sends, that moment buffer to be flushed. Okay, these okay, object created, this object created for what? Data input stream. This is socket class and the server socket. 3 objects to be closed. This is no need. Okay, it is only used whenever server is sending. Now, as I told you that only for server, if you want to make it this app only for server is sending, sorry, server is receiving from client. So that time, as I told you that these 2 lines of code compulsory, no need of this buffer reader code, but one string, you create one empty string, only one string to store that receiving data. Whenever this no need of, okay, whenever it reads that and converts that into string, that will be stored, that will be okay, and that will be taken print out. Okay, I think this is enough. I'm terminating this class and we will meet on Saturday. Okay. Stop sharing. Jai Hind.